beyond the 24/7 worship unto the Lord, I believe that what we're seeking to establish is a resting place for Holy Spirit in our culture, where Holy Spirit has come down. The glory of the Lord begins to manifest in Washington, D.C., but in all 50 states of America, that as a culture, we as the American church and as the American nation would begin to live life out of the mindset and the perspective of how can we host the presence of God. So beyond the tent itself on the mall, beyond the 24/7 schedule of worship unto Him, we're seeking to establish a presence-centered culture. So like, example, case in point, Kimberlee and I have 6 children, and it's one thing to tell your kids, be quiet, because they're arguing, because they just should stop arguing. It's a whole other thing to sit your children down and say, hey, listen, the goal of our family is to be a resting place for Holy Spirit to be pleased to dwell within our family. And so Holy Spirit, it hurts His heart when we're arguing. And so for the sake of giving the Holy Spirit just joy and being in our home with us, can we not be talking to each other quite like that? Let's change the way we talk. Let's work out our conflicts in a different way, because we don't want to hinder the presence of Holy Spirit in our midst. And so, yes, David's tent on the mall, but what we're seeking to establish is a nation that does everything out of the thought, how does this minister to God?
Yeah, and that there would be no separation, that it's not just we do it when we're at the tent, but it's we take that and we make it our heart. And so that the tent becomes our heart. That, oh, it's not just when I go to this white tent on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. It's actually wherever I walk, I am carrying His presence, and I want that continual worship to come up before His throne so that His presence comes down and shifts and changes what is happening around in my life. That the miracles that we're hearing of that are happening at the tent, the salvations that are happening at the tent, would actually begin to happen in my life, whether I'm at home, grocery store, park, doesn't matter, that there's no separation, that we as a nation, as individuals, and as a nation corporately would live in His presence on a continual basis, and that He would not just find a resting place in this little tent on the National Mall, but He would find a resting place wherever His people are walking and moving and having their being.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would want everybody to understand that what we have lived for our whole life as a couple is that we, our family, but then our nation of the United States would give Jesus the attention, the relationship, everything that He is due. And so really David's tent has come out of that heart of Jesus. We want to give you everything that you're due, and Holy Spirit, we want to make sure that you have a resting place. Holy Spirit, we want you to be pleased to be filled with uttermost delight at the nation of the United States. So yes, it's a tent on the mall, but come on, David's tent is a prophetic act of intercession for a nation to make the presence of the Lord central in every area of our life, from our schools to what we do on our family vacations, to how we spend our money. Every decision is thought through this process. Will this grieve or delight Holy Spirit? Holy Spirit, we want to be intimate with you. And that's what this is all about.